Hello everybody, this is Llodg, and today I'm talking about the Grandblue Fantasy Relink demo that's come out before the official game. The demo is only available on PlayStation consoles, and I'm playing this on the PS5. With the full game releasing on February 1st, a month filled with a ton of great RPGs, this demo is a nice way to see if this game is interesting enough to go against these other great games that are coming out. And before I get into the demo, I just wanted to say that I know basically nothing about Granblue Fantasy. I think there's a fighting game and maybe a phone game, but I have never played them and know nothing about the characters or world, so I'm going into this completely blind. Once you start the demo, you're presented with 3 different modes, a tutorial short story section, and quests to do. First we'll jump into the tutorial to figure out the controls and how to play. And if you've played any action RPG before, this game is very similar to that. You have a regular attack, stronger attack, dodge, and even special attacks that you have to build up their own meter to use. There's also a link ability that you can use once the enemy's stun gauge builds up all the way. And why does our companion sound so familiar to me?
Wide open!
You also have one last special attack. Once you fully build this bar below your health, you can perform a skybound art, and if you're in a party and your party members also perform their skybound art close to each other, you can perform a full burst for a lot of damage. Anyway, that's basically the tutorial. It's a pretty simple gameplay system that a lot of other action RPGs use, so if throughout my gameplay you see me using some action that I really shouldn't be using, it's because I kept switching up the buttons with other games. Though by the end I think I got it, just muscle memory really messing me up. With the tutorial done, let's move on to the story mode, and I won't dig too deep into the story since it seems like we're at least partway into it. I mean, we have a full party and a bunch of characters. I am also pretty sure these characters show up in other Granblue Fantasy games, so maybe we have a full party from the start, I don't know. Anyway, we start out on a flying ship and have to land because there are some really strong winds. We learn that the people on this floating island are being attacked by goblins, and we agree to help fight the goblins to free them. So we go and fight a lot of goblins. In this story mode, we are locked with this party, playing as Gran. We have Catalina, Rakam, and Io as our party members. And if you weren't sold on the combat of this game from the tutorial, this is a much better showcase of what you can really do, as there are other party members and even guests to also fight with, and actually have some use for non-attack moves like healing and stuff. After defeating some goblins, we were able to free our first group of villagers, and then move on to the next group. And hey, this next group, there are even some goblins riding some sort of animal creature. It's nice to have some variety in enemies like this. Anyway, we defeat all the goblins in this area, and didn't I just save you? Like, you better have a twin brother or something, because I just saved someone who looked exactly like you 5 minutes ago. You know you're supposed to run away from the goblins, not towards them, right? Anyway, if you're tired of fighting, there are also some platforming challenges for you to do for a nice reward like this gold chest. In fact, there are a lot of different chests throughout the world for you to find and open. Next we go to fight even more goblins, and hey, they even have one that's in armor. And a huge one. Oh man, I'm glad we beat them. Good thing we aren't gonna have to fight like, I don't know, 3 of them at the same time. Oh my goodness. After defeating those huge goblins, we learn that there's a goblin fortress that has a lot of captured villagers, so we go to free them.
I knew you'd say that.
And wait, I finally figured out who Vern sounds like. They're Patty from Tales of Vesperia. What is up with these Vesperia actresses coming back in games I cover? Anyway, figuring out who they were was eating away at me, so now we can go and attack the Goblin Fortress head on. And oh my goodness, what kind of goblin is that? He's like a whole story tall. Anyway, this fight isn't too bad, especially if you know how to dodge correctly, and even if you don't, you have a lot of ways to heal. And this fight is a great showcase of the different skybound arts in full burst, since you are fighting this one guy for so long. Seeing all your party members attack one after the other is so satisfying to see. After defeating that giant goblin, we finish the story mode and get one of those montages developers put in demos to really try and get you to buy the full game. And hey, I gotta say, there looks to be a lot of cool stuff and moments in the full game. And now for the last, and in my opinion best mode of the demo, Quest. Here you're able to accept 3 different quests to do their objectives like defeat all goblins, or even defeat a specific boss. Each quest also has their own sub-objectives that you can try to do for a higher overall rank. Some of them were kind of interesting, like defeating enemies by throwing objects at them, or even just clearing the mission in a specific amount of time. Also, this mode allows you to change your party up and even what character you control, so you're allowed to control any of these characters. They even have their own specific movesets, and some of them even have their own different gameplay mechanics. In the demo, since there were 3 quests, I decided to choose 3 characters to play for each quest. I chose Catalina, Siegfried, and Narmaya, and then I had a random assortment of characters to be in my party. Out of the 4 characters I played, my favorite are probably Catalina, with Narmaya as a close second. I really liked how Catalina had some cool magic attacks, but Narmaya has 2 different attack styles that I thought were really interesting. Also, if you have friends, it seems like you can team up with other people online to do these quests with each player being a character, which I think is really cool. I'm not sure how well it works or anything because I did this all solo, but just the concept of playing a game like this with friends is really cool to me. And after doing all the quests, we finish up the demo. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but if you finish up the story mode, you get a reward that applies in the full game, and this also applies for each quest you complete. If you do everything, you get 4 rewards. I really don't have any idea what you get from these rewards, but they are there if you want a better start to the full game. Overall, I really enjoyed this demo. The gameplay was fairly smooth and had a lot of different content for me to enjoy. If I wanted to, I probably could have tried over and over again to try and get S ranks and somehow beat these difficult bosses in a quick enough time. And I didn't even try out half the characters. There really seems to be a lot of replayability in here. And being able to play with other people is just so cool. Honestly, one of my favorite things in this demo, even if I didn't get to try it out. Now I want to talk about the visuals for this game, because man, this game looks so good. Like, the colors just look amazing when you're looking out onto this field. It looks like we're actually playing an anime. And don't even get me started on the skybox. Like, this might be one of my favorite skyboxes ever. It's that good. The character designs really reminded me of Final Fantasy, specifically Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, but this guy who shows up twice looks straight out of Final Fantasy XIV. I really liked all the character designs and there are a lot. The art in this game is just really good. But Catalina really reminds me of Kisara from Tales of Arise. I'm not saying they took inspiration, but they did steal Patty, so who knows. And yeah, those are my overall thoughts on the demo. Honestly, I loved it a lot more than I thought I would, and I really wish it was coming out in a less busy month, because I really want to play through the full game, despite knowing almost nothing about Granblue Fantasy. If you want to try out this demo for yourself, you can, and if you do, you can even get some neat rewards for your time. Let me know what you thought about the demo, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day, and goodbye!